This is the all-new 2017 and 18 Jeep Compass. This is the limited trim level, and the exterior color of this car is called Diamond Black Crystal Pearl. So let's get up close and personal with the all-new Compass. So starting off, here's the key fob. It's Chrysler's most recent key fob design with your unlock lock, power tailgate, remote start, and panic button on the bottom, and you do have a key inside. So since you do have remote start, just make sure that it's locked, and then double tap the start button, and then it starts right up. And those are the running lights right there. They're halogens. And then to shut it off, just double tap it again. So to use the smart key access system, just make sure that the key is in your pocket or your purse and the car's locked. Walk up to it. Now to unlock the doors, just grab the handle. And to lock the doors, just press this little black button here, and then it honks. So this particular Compass has the black and sky gray leather interior. It's perforated leather. It's heated. It's a pretty soft material. I like the red stitching. But the only thing about these light, almost white interiors is this car is pretty much brand new. It got here maybe a week ago. And the seats are already starting to get just a little bit discolored, so I would prefer the whole black seat or another color that's a little darker and it wouldn't show that much dirt. Anyways, you have an 8-way power driver's seat and a 6-way manual passenger seat. Here's your door panel. A majority of the door is a sky gray color. This is all soft touch material. It's a nice feeling material. I'm glad that Compass has a pretty more upscale interior than the previous generation. Now this is more of that soft touch material, but it's in black right now. There's your soft touch armrest, and you have some red stitching. I like the red stitching around the car. You have some storage and a cup holder down there. There's your speaker. Your driver and passenger side windows are automatic. Here are your mirror controls, your rear window controls, window locks, and door locks. Right here are your headlight controls. Here's your panel switch dimmers. Here's the lever to unlock the steering wheel to adjust it. It's tilt and telescopic. So let's get inside. So my first impressions of this new Compass's interior are very high. I really love how Jeep and Chrysler have made it look a lot more upscale than the previous model. And since this car does have the smart key access system, you also have push button start. Just make sure that you have the key inside the car. You could leave it anywhere. Put your foot on the brake and then press the start button to go. So starting off, you have a 3-spoke leather-wrapped steering wheel. It is electronically assisted. It's really smooth, actually. It's really easy to maneuver in parking lots, and then when you get up to speed, it's a little bit more precise. I like that this car also has a better sounding horn than other cars in its competition. Other cars in its competition have more of a wimpy horn. I like that some cars still have the good horn that they should. On the left side of the steering wheel, you have your high beam controls and your turn signals. And on the right side, you have your wiper controls. Now on the steering wheel, I really like the material. It's a soft material. Like, it's not like a sponge, but it's definitely a lot softer than other steering wheels that I've been in, that I've touched. So looking at these buttons, these are for the menu screen, for this information screen. I'll go over that in a second. Here are your Bluetooth phone controls to pick up, hang up, and voice control. And here are your cruise control settings. This car doesn't have the lane keep assist and the radar cruise control. That's an option. Now looking at the instrument panel, on the left side is your tachometer. On the middle is your information screen with your temperature gauge and your fuel gauge. And on the right you have your speedometer. So you use the up and down arrow and the OK button to scroll through the information screen on the wheel. So looking at the speedometer, tire pressure monitor and vehicle information, temperature, all that kind of stuff. I really like that it's more in-depth than other cars. There's your fuel economy, trip computer A and B, stop start, messages like text messages and just vehicle warnings, screen setup like your settings. There's more of your settings, and back to the speedometer. Now also on the back of the steering wheel you have your channel selection and your volume controls right here. I really like that it's behind the wheel. That's one thing I like about Chrysler products. Right here on the dash is more of that soft touch material. It's a little bit on the spongy side. I like that it's not resistant, but I'm not going to be touching the dash all the time, so it doesn't really matter. You have piano black trim right here. Looks pretty nice. Now all of the dash is that sort of soft to the touch material, and it looks good. I think it looks good. Anyways, you have an 8.4-inch touchscreen display. Most Chryslers have this. I like that there's not that many buttons inside the car. It doesn't feel cluttered, but you have to get used to all the screens and set up things on the big screen. Here's your radio. You have AM, FM, and Sirius XM. There's media. So you have USB, Bluetooth, and auxiliary. Here's climate. You can either change the temperature by touching the screen or by these buttons down here. It's dual zone automatic climate control. You also have a heated steering wheel too. You can change the temperature here, and then it's on sync right now, so you can make both sides the same temperature. And the fan speed, you can also change that there. That's pretty nice. And then here are your different modes up here. You could press this button more than once to change the modes, or just touch them right here. So here's your auto button, recirculation button, AC button, especially since it's 82 degrees outside. Definitely need AC, and it's cold. Front end gear defrosters too. Here's your Uconnect. Since this is a Chrysler product, you have Uconnect. These are basically like the equivalent of different apps on different cars. There's more of your controls to change the heated seats and the heated steering wheel. Here's navigation. So it uses Chrysler's version of their navigation system. It's pretty easy to use. You just hit where to and then address, all that kind of stuff. It's easy. The map, I sort of wish the map had a little bit more detail. I like that it's pinch to zoom, and then you could just move around everywhere like that. It's a nice looking, it doesn't look cheap, but I just wish that it was a little bit more crisp. And then phone. My phone isn't paired to the car right now. You also have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So with Bluetooth, you can make calls, receive calls, and stream with audio. So whatever's playing on your phone goes through the car's speakers. Down here, you have your volume knob and your tuning knob. I like that you still have those, and this is your power button and enter button there. Here's your park assist, or your parking sensors. Here's your mute button for the radio, your hazards, and you can shut the screen off. Just press it to turn it back on. Here's your off button, AC button, just like on the screen. All the equivalent of these buttons are down here. Now down here, since this car is the four-wheel drive model, you do have a multi-terrain select. So on this you have auto, snow, sand, and mud, and four-wheel drive lock. So that locks the center coupling. So not all four wheels spinning together, but both axles. Well, it locks the four-wheel drive system, but it's more of an all-wheel drive system. So when you scroll that knob, it shows with the different four-wheel drive systems here, from snow to sand to mud and then back to auto. So that's pretty cool. I like that it shows a little animation of it there. Right next to that you have an aux jack and a USB port. You also have a 12-volt power outlet down there and a little place to put your key fob or whatever. Behind that, this model has the 9-speed automatic transmission. It is shiftable too. It's a pretty smooth transmission. It's not too notchy, but it depends who's driving it. For me, since I'm used to the 9-speed, it's not that harsh. It can be a little bit at times, but it's not too bad. When you put the car into reverse, you have a backup camera with guidance lines. It's a pretty high definition backup camera, and it does steer. The guidance lines do steer with the wheel, and they're pretty quick and responsive too. Now behind that, this car does have auto start stop, so here's the off button. There's your electric parking brake. So you push it to disengage it, and you pull it to engage it. Here's your traction control off button down there. Now I like that the whole center console isn't that high, because my knee, I don't have to worry about it touching anything or being uncomfortable. So also these seats help. They're pretty comfortable seats, like I said before. I like that Jeep is embroidered on the seat there, but they're really comfortable seats. They're not hard at all. Of course, they're not that supportive for what car this is, but they're still nice anyway. Down here you have two cup holders. Just put my phone there, and they do adjust in size too. You have a soft touch armrest with that red stitching again. The center console isn't that big, but you do have a bunch of other little storage cubbies to put your stuff in. I'm surprised that you don't get a sunroof on this model. So over here, looking at the glove box, it is damped. You do have a light in it. It's one of the biggest glove boxes that I've seen so far. It's deep, but it's not too wide. But I like that it's deep, so you could fit an iPad or something in there. That's nice. Up here you have an auto dimming rearview mirror with your SOS buttons. Right here you have regular incandescent map lights on both sides, and your power tailgate release is up here. Looking at the visors, it's a pretty nice feeling material. You have visors with mirrors and lights on both sides, of course. And then looking at the passenger side door panel, it's just like the driver's side with that sky gray all throughout the most of the door, and the black in the middle with the stitching. All soft touch on the top. The bottom is hard touch, and you have a cup holder and storage on the bottom of that. So let's check out the rear seats of the Compass. So getting in the back, there's your rear door panel. The rear windows look a little bit small at first. I don't know how I'd feel long term. They're not that small though. This third window is small though. So you have more of that sky gray material up here. It's not hard touch plastic, but it's a plastic up here. The soft touch armrest. This is soft touch too. You have more of that stitching and another cup holder and some storage down there and your speaker. Now the rear seats, they're just like the front seats. They're pretty soft, perforated leather, and that two-tone color. I normally like two-tone, but I don't know how to feel about this particular color. You have more of that red stitching here. You have child safety latches in the front and the back of the seats. So let's get in the back. So I'm sitting behind myself, and I'm about 5'8", and I have maybe 2 inches of legroom. That's not too bad for a compact SUV. This is, I don't know, I think this is, I know it's bigger than the Renegade, but it's smaller than something like a Cherokee. So it's sort of in the middle of those two. So I don't know what to, I would say it's like a tweener between those two. So that's not too bad. You have 2 map pockets on both sides of the seats, and I like that you have 2 air vents. Some other cars don't give you those. You also have a USB port and a power outlet down there. Now the center hump, for being an all-wheel drive based vehicle, it's not that tall, actually. It's not that intrusive in the middle. It's pretty shallow, so that's a good thing. So looking at the rear seats, they're actually pretty comfortable, just like the front seats. They're not as supportive, obviously, as the front seats because the bolsters aren't that thick. But I wouldn't mind sitting here for a little bit. So the passenger side door panel is just like the driver's side door panel. That plastic here, the sky gray, and the soft touch material in the middle with the red stitching too. You also have a center armrest if you just pull that down. It's really soft. It's really soft if you touch it. But you have two cup holders and a place to put your phone, I guess. But I'm surprised how soft it is. You have two lights up here where the where the oblong handles are. There's not much else behind here. Visibility isn't too bad. I would say where the D pillar is, that's where it could be a little bit of a problem, but you do have a blind spot monitor on this car, so it's not too bad. So let's check out the trunk of the Compass. So to open the tailgate, you can either press the button on the inside of the car, double click the button on the remote, or just press the button on the back here. It's a pretty quick tailgate too. So behind the second row, you get about 22 cubic feet of volume, and then behind the first row with the second row folded, you have about 62 cubic feet of volume. That's not too bad. I can fit my camera bag, of course, I can always do that. This one has the optional rubber mat, and you have some storage on both sides on the bottom there. And then if you push and pull here, you don't get a full-size spare. You can as an option because there's room for it, probably for a donut or a space saver. You do have a tire service kit from Mopar, so that might be an option that you'd get. There's your power tailgate button, and you have two lights on both sides. You also have a power outlet right there. You have two grab hooks for grocery bags or just tethering stuff down there. They're the rear seat mounts for a child seat. And then to close the tailgate, just press the button. It beeps and then it'll shut. You have a nice little Jeep badge right there. And it closes right up. So let's check out what's under the hood of the Compass. So the hood latch, there's a little design right there, so you just pull it towards you. So getting under the hood latch is right under the Jeep logo, and you pull to the left and up. It's not start assisted, there's a stick. So under the hood of the Compass, you have a 2.4 liter, 16 valve, single overhead cam 4-cylinder that makes 185 horsepower and 175 pound-feet of torque. Now, for this car, it's going to all four wheels and a 9-speed automatic transmission. So you should be expecting about 22 miles per gallon in the city, 30 on the highway, and a combined rating of about 25. Now, I think the city fuel economy could be a little bit better. I think 22 is a little bit what you would expect from something like a Wrangler or a minivan or an SUV. So I don't think that's too bad because you get a pretty good combined of 25, so that's not that big of a deal. So let's hear how the Compass sounds. I don't think that sounds half bad out of the exhaust. So let's check out the exterior by turning on the headlights, fog lights, and hazards. So starting off, you have LED turn signal indicators on the heated and power adjustable rear view mirrors. They don't power fold though. Down here you have 18-inch alloy wheels with 4-wheel disc brakes. The fronts are ventilated and the rears are solid. I think it's a nice wheel design. It looks similar to the Trailhawk, but they're slightly different. They're wrapped around 225 with tires, and of course they're all seasons. Coming up front, You have halogen low beams and halogen fog lights with halogen daytime running lights too, and incandescent turn signals. I wish this car had an LED light option. It would have made this car a little bit more upscale. Well, not upscale, but just it would look a little bit more premium. I also like that you have a little Jeep Easter egg on the headlight right there. There's a bunch of them on Jeeps. And of course, since this is a Jeep, you have that 7-slot grille. I actually like what Jeep did to the new Compass. It's a nice, attractive looking car. It looks a lot better than the previous generation. It doesn't look cheap when you walk up to it, especially in this limited trim with those 18s, and then in black, it looks really nice. Now coming up here, you have roof rails. You can get optional crossbars. I like the rear end of the Compass too. I like how that chrome band comes up and then swoops around the rear window. That looks pretty cool. Coming in the back, you have LED taillights with halogen brake lights and reverse lights. Your turn signals incorporated in the taillight. There's your 4x4 badge. Your backup cameras up here. Your rear wiper and third brake light. And of course, this is a limited. I'm surprised you have a dual exhaust back there. Sounds pretty nice too. There are your rear parking sensors also at the bumper. But I also like the rear end of the Compass too. It doesn't look too boxy like the old one, but it still looks nice. You have a good approach and departure angle too. I'll talk about that later in the video. Even though this is more of a street Jeep, I'm pretty sure you could still take even a limited off-road. For off-road, I would definitely get the Trailhawk, just because it has a real locking rear diff and just a bunch of more aggressive tires and just a bunch of off-road goodies. So the Compass has 4 trim levels, starting at the Sport, which is $20,995, the Latitude, which is $24,295, the Trailhawk, which is $28,595, and then the Limited like our Tester, which is $28,995. The Compass really doesn't have that many competitors because it's sort of one slot below compact SUVs, so I would say it's almost a subcompact, maybe in the middle. So it would compete with other subcompacts such as the 2017 Mazda CX-3, the 2017 Ford EcoSport, the 2017 Honda HR-V, and the 2018 Toyota CHR. Now, for the Compass Limited, you have about 16.8 degrees of approach angle, 22.9 of breakover angle, and 31.7 degrees of departure angle. So I hope you all enjoyed getting up close and personal with the all-new Jeep Compass with me today. If you have any questions about the Compass or just anything in general, make sure to leave those in the comments section below. I post videos once to twice a week, so that's a heads up. Usually it's Monday or Friday, but could be any day. Special shout out to Dark Cars, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram of Silver Spring for letting me come film the all-new Compass today. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. It's free. And I'll see you guys in the next video.